Sterling Holmes with Fan-Sided and Stacking the Box, joined now by two-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. How good is that first-team All-Pro sound?
Sounds beautiful.
I do want to point out, just hours before the start of the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft, USAA, the official NFL Salute to Service partner, will kick off celebrations by hosting a special Salute to Service event for local military from Selfridge Air National Guard Base, featuring a private lunch and meet and greet with Detroit first-team All-Pro wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I know you're looking forward to this.
Yeah, it's gonna be super, super fun. I'm excited, to be able to talk with these men and women that put their lives on the line for us. I mean, one of the most well-respected people on this, I feel like on this earth for what they do. I feel like, my upbringing, the way I was raised, with the discipline with my two parents, kind of aligns with the military and how they do things there. You got to be super, you got to be mentally strong. A lot of things go on, in the military. So your mental toughness definitely has to be up there. Physical fitness, all the stuff that goes into it. So um, I feel like we relate on a different level. Even though I don't, I've never been in the military. I don't have too much family that has been in it, but just to understand what they go through, what I've done to get to where I am today, my whole story, I think it'll be great.
Yeah. I do want to point out, since you brought up your family very quickly, your dad was a bodybuilder in the 1980s, two-time amateur Mr. Universe. What was it like growing up with him? Was he working you out hard? I mean, my dad was a DJ, so all I know was music, okay? I'm not built for
Yeah,
the NFL. He didn't build me up that way. What was it like for you
yeah.
having him as your dad?
It's really all I know. I feel like I lived a normal life growing up, and when I tell other people, they kind of feel like it was a lot different than what they had growing up. Growing up with my dad, having him there, I mean, he was tough on me and my two brothers. Definitely, I would say when we were working out with him, whether it was in the weight room, on the field, at practice. He was at every practice, always coaching us up. After practice, telling us what we could have done better or what we need to do better next time. I don't think he ever missed any of my football games. He might have missed like one soccer game. So he's been to almost every sporting event that I ever had. And looking back on it, it's like it's pretty rare to have a father that is so present in your life. So I'm super thankful for him because I feel like without him I wouldn't be here today. But looking back on it, it was definitely a special journey that I had.
I will also point out you speak three different languages, and I was talking with Jared Goff the other day, and I brought up a good idea. He loved this. Okay, I said, because you speak, German, what if Jared Goff learns German and then you just confuse the defense? I think we're on to something here.
I think that's pretty funny. He actually texted me. This is probably after you talked to him. He texted me like a week ago and said, we should have some plays in German or some calls in German so that when we're out there we can just audible and switch it and no one's gonna know what it is besides me and you. So we're actually texting about it back and forth about some stuff that we have in our playbook that we can try to translate in German. So I'm pretty sure it came from you. I'm not gonna, give you all the credit, but I think it came from you because you just brought it up. So I haven't talked about it since. So I'm giving you all the credit for this one. But yeah,
Thank
we
you.
definitely we talked about that. I think that'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, that was hilarious because he goes, he hadn't thought of that. So that's perfect. That's exactly what it is. He wanted to hit you up. With the draft, obviously, just around the corner, you were originally projected as a first rounder, and then you fell second, third, and then fourth, right? And now I think we all understand, yeah, you were a first rounder all along. But what was your draft experience like with that going on?
Um, I would say during or before the draft, I probably knew I wasn't going to go first round just because of how everything went down. COVID. I only played 6 games, so it was kind of tough. So I knew I wasn't going to go first round. I was more expecting second or third round, so day two, and ended up falling to day three. But I would say my draft experience, I tell everyone it was terrible. It was something that I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy. The way that I felt, what I had to go through. And I feel like that's most people's draft experience. It's terrible. If you're not a top 10 pick, even if you're, pick number 18, if you're in that green room, you're waiting a pretty long time. If you're at home, you're waiting a pretty long time. So it's really not what everyone thinks it is if you're not going top 10. But at the end of the day, you do get drafted. If you do get drafted, it's a great feeling to, have a team call you, pick up the phone, get to talk to the head coach, the GM, whoever it is, the owner, and to have a team, want you. It's a feeling. It's a feeling that it's a great feeling to have as a player. You work so long, so hard for this your entire life to finally be able to get drafted. It's an indescribable feeling, but the whole process before of having to wait is terrible.
When you talked to me last time, it was about a year ago. You said you could point out and say, yeah, that dude can play, that dude can't. Sometimes the media, we get enamored with 40 times. We get enamored with a certain drill. And you said that might not translate to actual game action. When you're looking at some of these guys, and you know better than anyone, when you're coming out of college, what traits actually translate to the NFL? And what are some traits that might look good on paper, but quite frankly, don't matter that much when you get to this level?
Yeah, I think you gotta look at the tape. You gotta look at what they're doing on what they did in college on Saturdays. That's really going to tell you most of it. I feel like it's going to tell you 90% of it, 80% of it. I think a lot of it, you can tell from talking to a guy, interviewing him, understanding what kind of person he is, how he thinks, how he processes information. I think a lot of people, the combine, the combine, the 40, the vertical, the broad jump, the cone drills. I mean, all that is what people want to see. They want to see someone break the 40-yard dash time. They want to see someone jump out the gym, bench press. I think those are the numbers that that trick people, that fool people. Because at the end of the day, you can have a guy that runs, that maybe does a better cone drill, but when he gets out on the field, it's not looking like that on the field. So I think watching the tape is the most important thing, seeing what they do on the field, and then being able to talk to the person, understanding how they think, what drives them, what motivates them, what how they process information with playbooks and all that. Those are the most important things, I feel like.
Do you have a wide receiver in this draft that you're looking at that you're like, you know what, this guy needs more love? Or do you even care about that? Do you even watch college football anymore?
I don't watch too much college football. I still obviously watch USC football, the big games, um, you know, Pac-12 championship, SEC championship, college football playoffs. I would say those are most of the games that I watch. But I kind of I have social media, so I see things on my phone. I see receivers, and I love watching receivers. So in this draft, I mean, there's a lot of good receivers in this draft. You got Marvin Harrison from Ohio State. He's good. I really like the guy from UW, Romo Dunze. I like his game a lot. He's in the Pac-12, so I was able to watch some of his games when they played Oregon, when they played certain teams. They were in the playoffs. I was able to watch him there, so I really like his game. Um, Dude from LSU, I haven't seen too much of his. I didn't watch any of his game. I see some of his highlights. He's good. Actually, both of them are pretty good. Um, I mean, who else? There's a lot more. Um, I mean, there's a lot to talk about the guy from South Carolina that I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Saw some of his highlights. He looks really good. Dude from Georgia, Lad McConkey. He looks smooth. I mean, there's so many receivers. I feel like in this draft that you can get one in maybe round 3 that maybe last year, 2 years ago would have went round 2 or late round 1. So I'm excited to see these receivers come off the board. I'm always happy for any receiver that gets drafted.
Um, you were a major part of the Lions winning the first playoff game in 30 years. What was going through your mind when you brought in that crucial first down catch that, quite frankly, sealed the deal for you guys?
Yeah, I would say going into that, that last drive, we knew we needed a few first downs to win the game. I didn't know. I knew we definitely needed one because it was like over 2 minutes left with a 2-minute warning. We ended up getting the first down, and then we needed one more first down. I think it was on second down. We threw it, and I caught that first down catch to kind of steal the game. But I was so in the moment at the time that I wasn't even realizing how big the moment was. I was just in the flow of things. It's kind of how I get in big games or any game is I kind of get in that even keel kind of mindset just to keep me grounded and ready to go for each play. So I was kind of level minded at the time. I wasn't thinking about how big the moment was until after the game when everything kind of settled in. So it was a moment in my career that I'll never forget.
I will say this, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I know this well, and you're about to get to that same spot, okay? Which, by the way, congrats on beating the Chiefs last year, week one. That was I was happy for you guys. But you're about
Yeah,
to go from the lovable bunch of lions to all of a sudden you start winning too much. Well, now you're the hunted. So get excited for that.
yeah, right. Yeah,
I do want to give a huge shout out to USAA one more time. Through its partnership with the NFL Salute to Service program, USAA honors the military community all season long, hosting thousands of military members, veterans, and their families at dozens of NFL events, exactly like one that Amon-Ra St. Brown is hosting in Detroit. Amon-Ra St. Brown, two-time Pro Bowler, first team All-Pro wide receiver for the Lions. Appreciate it, man.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.